Thanks, Janet. Really lovely to be here. Yeah, I'm 51. I live near Cambridge in the UK. I'm married with two grown-up children and a 13-year-old. I've had all kinds of bits of careers all over the place. Always been really passionate about writing and quite a creative person. But at the moment, I work in alumni relations and fundraising and do quite a bit of editing and writing for the alumni magazine. For over half of my life, I've been pretty unhappy with my relationship with alcohol. It was never huge amounts, but it was the frequency. It was very pervasive across all areas of my life. I'd have breaks and always go back. I'm recently diagnosed with ADHD, and that revelation made a lot of things make sense.
What you're describing is very typical for many of us, isn't it? We sit in that grey area drinking phase far too long, really, because we convince ourselves that we're fine because we're holding everything together.
Yes.
Why do you think we do that? Why don't we just reach out, get some help and fix it?
I think it feels too big. I think that also safety in numbers. You'll always have people telling you, if you don't drink that much, or don't be so hard on yourself. Oh, I drink more than you. And it's so normalized. I think considering stopping just feels too huge. And personally speaking, I lost so much time trying to moderate. And I wasn't a heavy drinker, trying to get down to those 14 units a week. And I gave myself a really hard time for being weak. But I think the truth is alcohol has no intention of being consumed in moderation.
That's not what it's for, is it?
No.
And I used to look at people that were really far gone. And I went to a few AA meetings and heard these stories about people that had lost everything. And I used to think, I'm not that bad. I'm not like them. So
No.
a lot of that going on. And my friends also, they used to say to me, what are you fussing about? Everybody drinks a bottle of wine a night. But when you think that's 7 bottles of wine a week, that's not 14 units, is it?
No, it's a hell of a lot more. And when you do try and moderate it, it's not the best of both worlds. It's the worst of all worlds because you're not having as much as you want. So you feel deprived.
Yeah.
On non-drinking days, I would feel I'm missing out. I want to drink and I was biding my time till the next drinking day. So there was no peace. I wasn't enjoying the time that I had.
No, it takes up so much mental space. And that's one of the big things that many of us experience when we do quit. The clear mind can think about something more interesting than alcohol units.
Yes, absolutely.
I do enjoy your writing, Liz. You talk about midlife awareness in those blogs. So do you think something shifts in us ladies at that stage of life? Why is it such a significant phase?
Yeah, I'm talking from the perspective of someone with late diagnosed ADHD. I think perimenopause has quite a bit to do with it. I realised I'd been muddling through, wondering why I was finding things more of a struggle than other people seemed to. I didn't know that I had ADHD, but then when that was compounded by perimenopause, I felt like I was going mad. I went to get HRT when I was 49, which helped. But the diagnosis of ADHD made a lot of sense. And by that point, I'd been using alcohol as a crutch for years or decades. I know for some people, the empty nest syndrome, that's part of it. And you've done your job and you've raised your kids and there can be a sense of, oh, what now?
Yes.
So I think that all feeds into it.
Did you get your diagnosis straight away when you went for HRT, or did you have to shop around a bit until you got a diagnosis?
Yeah, I got the HRT before I was aware that I had ADHD, and then I was on a waiting list to get an assessment, which I eventually got last October. In the meantime, I educated myself quite a bit about ADHD, just as I'd educated myself about alcohol through the Breaking Free course. And I learned that with ADHD, your dopamine levels are naturally low. Alcohol, of course, delivers a huge dopamine hit. We tend to suffer from rejection sensitive dysphoria. So everything hurts more than it should. And you can feel that someone's hating you or they're cross with you. And So taking the edge off can feel very tempting. Time blindness, the inability to play the tape forward that some people have. There seems to be just 2 bits of time, now and not now. And that was something that the Breaking Free course was so good with, because there was such a wide range of tools available. There was going to be something that worked for everyone.
So which tool was useful for you?
Oh, yeah, various ones. I think the 2 of the most useful things were knowing that you have to go through that period of things being tough. You have to feel boredom for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that dopamine seeking ADHD brain, that can be quite tough.
Yeah.
But it was really good to have that heads up, and then saying, find a project.
Yeah.
Find something to sink your energies into. And so I've done that. The course was incredible and I learned so much, but that first time through, I went off piste. And it's because I'd been floating through in this cloud of euphoria. I was like, oh, I've done it. This course is amazing. And it is amazing. And I was totally evangelical and saying to everyone, but I hadn't gone through that flat. I hadn't done the brain work, if you like, the mental work. I'd learned all the stuff, but I hadn't gone through that process. And so this time, that's what I've done. And I've been quieter about it. And I've found projects. I've learned about finance. I've paid off about £7,000 of debt.
Wow.
I've learned how to save and how to invest. I'm getting help with things I've found a struggle in my life, like getting my house tidy and decluttered.
It was very tidy from what I...
It's huge. Thank you. Yeah, I've enlisted the help of a wonderful neurodivergent declutterer who's helping me work with the wiring that I have to do something that I've always struggled to do. And just seeing people like the wonderful Lynette. Yeah, we had all of the facts and figures and the information that was very engagingly presented, but then people's lived experience as well.
Yeah,
And
being
just
in community is everything, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And just thinking, I don't know if I can do this, but then seeing people like her and like you out the other side and thinking, them, I believe them. You do have to go through it.
Yes. Net always says, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Did you get the hang of that?
Yes, I did, but not the first time, because the first time I was just so elated.
Yes, yeah. That's interesting.
So when that
You were in
went,
the pink cloud.
Oh, absolutely, in the pink cloud, yes. And I went back and I was really cross with myself. And this time, I went through it and I did it properly. I think because I had the understanding now that I've got ADHD and these bits I will struggle with, that helped. That was what I'm describing as my missing 5%.
Yeah.
And Tribe Sober has been my other 95%.
Yeah.
And I'm now, 4-month alcohol free.
Fantastic. I seem to remember you had your 50th birthday party in the middle of the course.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I did. And it was lovely. I think at that point I was about a month alcohol free, and we had a party in the back garden, and people were saying, oh, you look really serene and happy. And I felt a bit nervous. I made sure that we had happening, so it wasn't just people sitting around getting drunk. We had a lovely friend of mine brought his band and they played, and we did barbecue, and so the focus wasn't on drinking. So that was really lovely. Yeah, and I had my little tiara with the 50 on it. And
I remember, yeah.
And my best friend, she didn't drink with me either for the party, and that was lovely. Really good support.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? I think.
It does, yeah.
So talk to me about benefits.
Yes, a lot.
If you had to sell sobriety to someone, what would you say?
Yeah. For me, I think it's freedom. I think first and foremost. Previously, for so many years, alcohol dominated everything. It had to accompany everything. It was very parasitic. It attached itself to everything. And even if it was going to see my daughter in a dance show or my son in a play, I'd be at the bar grabbing a glass of wine beforehand and then another one in the interval. And if You tell yourself, oh, it's lovely, I'm going to go and see friends, we're going to have a night out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But all the time I'm thinking, yeah, and at this point we're going to have alcohol. And if I'd been told then we're not having alcohol tonight, that would have ruined the whole occasion.
If I was out for dinner with people, I'd be looking at their glass and the bottle of wine and thinking, are we going to run out?
Exactly. It dominates everything. It was always just like, how much can I have so that the room doesn't start spinning, but I can still get the buzz? It was really exhausting and all-consuming. My biggest fear, which kept me stuck for a long time, was if I stop, I won't really enjoy things. I'll have to get used to having less fun and less joy. That is so untrue. And people said it was untrue. I thought they're just maybe not wired like me. It'll be true for me.
Oh, that keeps so many of us stuck. And in fact, I remember at the beginning going through the flat bit and thinking, if I'm going to feel like this for the rest of my life, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah. I'm naturally quite shy and introverted, and I often feel quite socially awkward. And I always would look forward to having that glass in my hand to give me that confidence, but it keeps you stuck. I guess I started drinking around 17. I hadn't had the chance to grow because I'd always fallen back on the booze. And now in social situations, I'll say, that's fine. I've got a right to be here. It's fine for me to take up this space. I've got something to say. I'm going to go and chat to that person that I've not met before, and actually really starting to enjoy that.
Yeah. And I think it really helps to ask people questions and listen to them. And I think when we're drinking and talking, we don't do much of that, do we?
With ADHD, there's a real craving for connection.
Yeah.
And it can feel like, oh, the way to connect with someone is to go out and get drunk with them, and then you forge that bond. And it's like a shortcut past the awkwardness and past the small talk, which I find hard with this sort of wiring. But it's not real. One of the very best things that I gained from Tribe Sober was my friendship with Gail, who also did the course at the same time as me. And she is now heading towards 600 days sober.
Wow.
And she's become one of my closest friends, as well as my sober guru. So if there's an occasion coming up and I feel a bit, or I don't know, I'll speak to her, and it helps so much. We meet up and we've been for an outdoor swim. We've been to do an art class, which was full of little kids and us. And we just have the loveliest time. She's been through a really tough time. She's done it all without any alcohol, and she's just incredible. So that is a genuine connection.
It's lovely for you to be friends with someone that is a bit further down the road, but not decades down the roads. You remember when she was at your stage.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You're 4 months alcohol-free. How do you see the future?
It all feels quite exciting. It feels like there's opportunity opening up, and I'm not quite sure what. I'm just looking at things quite differently. I feel like I've taken control of certain things. I do need the dopamine hit still, so I've discovered wild swimming, cold water swimming, and I found a really lovely community there.
Yeah.
I have weekends away whenever I can with my best friend, Ruth, who's also late diagnosed ADHD. And I look forward to these so much, and we go and swim in the sea and do all sorts of crazy things and have such a laugh without a drop of alcohol. It's not on my radar. It's not on her radar.
I think doing stuff in a group like you are, it takes it out of the equation, doesn't it? Because it's about the activity. It's not about drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about the activity, and it's about that community. So yeah, I started off this year, thought I'll do a month initially, and two really good friends of mine who have always been big drinking buddies, they did it with me, which was wonderful. And then I thought, oh, I'll carry on. And then I thought, I'll do that in 66 days.
Yeah.
And do it properly this time. And then I got to that point and I just wanted to continue. So I thought 100 days. And then I got in contact with you, and you said, would I like to come on and chat about my experience? And I thought, how incredible. So I thought, I can't have drink before that. So,
absolutely not. So you've got to keep going now. So, do you see the future alcohol-free? Is that how you would like it to be?
It is how I'd like it to be. I think for the first time, possibly the first time ever, I'm in a space where I genuinely can envisage that,
Yes.
because I'm doing the things and really enjoying the things and setting up this life that I'd still have things I really look forward to. I used to look forward to drinks on a Friday night, and now the highlight of my weekend is, oh, I've got my wild swim on Sunday, first thing in the morning, in freezing cold lake, massive dopamine hit, brilliant chat with brilliant people. So that connection, I think meaningful connection with others, that is so essential to all of us, really. My 13-year-old daughter, I was quite shocked to learn that a lot of her friends of 12 and 13 are all regularly drinking alcohol. And it's available courtesy of parents at parties in some cases. My older two have a healthy relationship with alcohol and don't drink a lot. But with my younger daughter, if I'm going to be saying to her, oh no, you shouldn't be drinking at parties, but I'm still drinking, it's not going to give the right message. So we can have really good chats about that now.
Yeah, it does open the dialogue, doesn't it, with our kids, I think. Your older ones, do they know that you've stopped drinking?
Yes, they do. No,
Do they think of it? Are they proud of you?
they're really proud of me. Yeah, it's lovely. My son, he's been at uni and he's back home for a year, and we're not having it in the house. He'll occasionally go out with friends and might have a couple of drinks. When I was drinking, the older two, when they were home, they'd drink. My husband would drink. I'd be getting it in. If I don't get it in, they don't drink.
Wonderful. Yeah. I know you're quite passionate about ADHD. If people are listening to this and they think, oh, I wonder if I've got that, talk to us a little bit more about it. When you went to be diagnosed, you said you had an assessment. What happens at the assessment, for example?
It's just lots and lots of questions, and you do tests as well. There was a test where these blocks would come up in orange or blue, and you needed to click one thing if it was blue, one thing if it was orange, and they do that for 20 minutes. I didn't do well in it because it's boring. ADHD, it's not a lack of attention, it's an unfiltered abundance of attention. And that's why I can't keep my house straight, because people will say, just pick a corner, and my brain will go, there's 47 corners and they're all screaming. So it's really hard. It can lead to hyperactivity. For me, that's not so much external, it's in my head. It's like there's 50 tabs open at once. It can be impulsive. So I've made really bad choices in my past because it's like you focused on the now. I want this now. I want this gratification now. Alcohol or whatever it may be, and inattentive. So I can be very interested in wanting to know what someone's saying. If they're giving me directions to something, I can't take them in. I'm nodding and, oh yes, because I want to people please and show that I'm very polite, but I'm not processing the directions, and I would set off in the wrong direction. But I used to have a reputation of it's to do with fidgety, naughty little boys at school who can't sit still. And there's been quite an explosion of women in particular being diagnosed because you've held it all together, you didn't realise what it was, you knew you struggled, there's a lot of shame associated with it. And then when it's compounded by perimenopause and you just can't hold it together anymore.
The perfect storm, isn't it?
Yes, it's the perfect storm. And this is why you're so much more prone to alcohol dependence if you've got ADHD. It shuts down some of those tabs in your head, which feels like such a relief, but it's short term and it's destructive, and as we know, very damaging. And then you have that 3 o'clock waking and all the tabs are screaming again. It's not a solution. We crave fun and we crave adventure, and so it feels like it's serving us. When I was 17, 18, I was horrendous. My behaviour and it caused a lot of hurt and into my 20s, and I didn't know why, because I didn't want to hurt people I loved, but I was just so impulsive and quite destructive. I had no self-esteem. I thought I was just a dreadful person. So getting that diagnosis, I went through all the feels really. A bit of rage, despairing almost, and oh gosh, I have potential to do things and I haven't done it because I haven't got stickability. I might have the ability to write, but I don't have grit. So yeah, I learned a lot about it, and I'm getting to the point of some self-compassion and forgiveness now, trying to work with the wiring that I have. Yeah, and the Breaking Free course is amazing. I'd recommend it for anyone with or without ADHD, because it has that community element. It has that bit where you can go in and share or overshare if you want to. It has that whole range of tools. You can make it your hyper focus. People call that a superpower of ADHD sometimes, the hyper focus. And I made learning the course content, that was my hyper focus. And when you have that knowledge, you can't unlearn it. And even when I dropped off, I heard your voice saying, once you cross that line with your drinking, there's no going back.
Yeah, you'll never find peace with drinking again. And your journey's been quite interesting, Liz, because you were in your pink cloud and that was great. But when that went away a bit, you fell off the wagon. But you came back, which is the important thing, to keep trying and keep trying. And it looked like this second time it's really stuck. I love what you said about you can now envisage having an alcohol-free future. Whereas when we start on this journey, people say, I can't imagine not having a drink forever. They might take a little break for a few months, but we get to a stage when we're experiencing more benefits and we think, maybe I can do this. It's not the scary F word anymore.
No, I completely agree. The thing that kept me stuck was thinking, I'm never going to have that feeling of real fun, crazy connection, letting my hair down.
Maybe we don't have the letting down the hair and the crazy nights anymore, but it's replaced, isn't it, by something calmer, something deeper. And the authenticity of your connections that you describe is so much richer than just getting smashed with a group of drinkers and feeling dreadful the next day.
Yeah, it is. It's so much better. And yeah, the authenticity and those belly laughs. If you could see me and Ruth, two late diagnosed ADHD women, trying to fold up a picnic blanket and just trying about 10 times and failing to fold this picnic blanket during one of our weekends away. And we were just absolutely...
That because it had to be very precise.
There was a bit sticking out, and so we'd start it again and roll it. And we just, come on, we're both educated to degree level, and it's like trying to go through a door together and just getting wedged in it. We're still so connected, more connected than ever. And I remember sitting in a pub with her after we'd been for one of our swims, and we'd just been chatting and being completely open about everything. And I just sat there and realized, there's all this alcohol around us. And I said to her, it couldn't add anything to how I'm feeling now.
I think that you're still connected with something from Breaking Free. There's lifelong friendships that we form. It's like a family sometimes. And I told you we went off to Bali. There were 15 of us. It was amazing. Being in a group and being vulnerable and saying alcohol's just making me so unhappy, which is something you don't really say to your drinking buddies or your family that might just so cut down a bit. You have to have a group that understands it, and that's what makes all the difference.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I know you said the average is, I think it's 11 years, isn't it, from when you start questioning your drinking to actually doing something about it. And for me, it was 25. I remember making a list when I was 25, 3 kids, reasons not to drink. And the last point on the list was, you'll like yourself more.
Wow, and that's true, I'm sure. Yeah, good for you. It didn't cross my awareness not to drink at that age, just getting started. So if someone's listening to this and they're worried about their drinking, what would you say to them? Because just taking that first step, it's so hard, isn't it? Especially if you can't imagine your life without alcohol.
If you're worried about your drinking, it won't go away. Look at me, 25 years, I couldn't bat it away. It gets worse, yeah. And even if you force yourself to moderate, that doesn't give you peace. You just feel deprived. You're not having as much as you want. But to the late diagnosed ADHD women like me, sort of glorious, big-hearted, oversharing, overcaring party girls, I would just make a promise that genuine connection and the belly laughs and the silliness and the big dopamine hits, that's all still there for you.
Yeah.
There are other, better, healthier ways of still having that in your life. I would find life quite dull if I didn't still have that connection and that fun and that joy.
I think it's very true that sobriety delivers everything that alcohol promised. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that from the course, and I'm understanding that now. Put alcohol on hold, and then the genuine joy of these things is allowed to re-emerge and blossom.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful and far more varied. But you do need to go through that sort of flat.
So I know that you love writing, and I think your writing is very good. And I know you touch on alcohol and ADHD quite a lot.
Yeah.
So how can people follow you and read your pieces?
Thank you. I've got a blog. I'm just in the process of rebranding that because I've written about all sorts of stuff. And now I think I've found my niche and I'm focusing in on the ADHD, in particular in relation to alcohol and late diagnosed middle-aged women like myself, because there are a lot of us.